Throughout our nation's history, millions of men and women have earned the title United States Marine. In keeping with the slogan, once a Marine, always a Marine, we would like to recognize them. We ask that those men and women in the audience who have served in the United States Marine Corps, please rise. Please join us in showing our appreciation for the designated service of Corps and country. Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Commanding Officer of the 1st Recruit Training Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Benfield.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Benfield, and I'm the Commanding Officer of the 1st Recruit Training Battalion, and on behalf of Brigadier General Padilla, I'd like to welcome you this morning to the graduation ceremony for the Marines of Company D and Company O. Today is a significant day as we welcome over 600 new Marines into the ranks of our Corps. They passed through the most difficult entry-level training the United States Department of Defense has to offer. It's a rigorous 12-week program of instruction that includes marksmanship and marching, Marine Corps Water Survival Training, marching, Marine Corps Martial Arts Program, and marching, combat conditioning. Did I mention that we do some marching around here? And it's only appropriate that their last event today, they will march and review for you. But more importantly than that, over the last 12 weeks, these behind me have learned what it means to be a Marine. To take our core values of honor, courage, and commitment and internalize them. And these core values aren't just something that apply here at Parris Island or on distant battlefields of Iraq or Afghanistan, but they form the foundation of the way they will now lead their lives. But we realize that these men and women would not be here without you, the people in the stands here today. So for all the family members out there, for the moms and the dads, the grandparents, the coaches, the mentors, and the family friends, thank you for everything that you've done to get them ready for this day. Thank you for giving them for giving them the drive and determination to accomplish a very difficult task. Thank you for giving them the willingness to subordinate themselves to a greater good, to be something bigger than something bigger than just part of themselves. And finally, thank you for giving them the willingness to serve each other, to serve our Corps, and serve this great nation. The next group I need to thank this morning are our Marine Corps recruiters. They're out there today and every day, back in your hometown, looking for the next generation of our Corps. In many cases, these recruiters are the ones that first planted the idea in the minds of these Marines to say, hey, the Marine Corps is something that I might want to do. It's something I could do. They nurtured that idea, and then when the time came, helped them take those first steps that led them to the yellow footprints and eventually to this graduation ceremony here today. It's not an exaggeration to say, without our recruiters, we would not have a Marine Corps. The final group I'd like to thank this morning are the drill instructors of Company D and Company O. In my 18 years of service, I have not seen a more dedicated or professional group of Marines. All of them were volunteers, and all of them were hand-selected to come down here and accomplish one of our Corps' most important missions, to make Marines. Please join me in a round of applause for the drill instructors of Company D this morning. The first, congratulate something that less than 1% of your high school classmates would even consider doing.
There it is.
To come down here and attempt to become a United States Marine and to join our nation's most elite in a time where our nation is at war. It's a tremendous accomplishment and one you should be proud of. And secondly, is to remind you, has just begun. You still want your MOS producing schools, and then from there, you take your place in the operating forces alongside your contemporaries, where you will soon be forward deployed and have an opportunity to serve in a forward deployed capacity. Realize that no service has a higher percentage of their troops that are in contact with the enemy than the United States Marine Corps. We remain first to fight. The final thing I'll tell you, Marines, Understand or never forget the way you felt last Saturday, the first time you held that Eagle Globe and Anchor in your hand. Never forget the emotion of that moment, and never let that fire die inside of you. Remember that regardless of whether you serve for 4 years or 44 years, from this day forward, you will always proudly claim the title of United States Marine. Super Fidelis, and God bless.